RSA stands for River, Shamir and Alderman, who were the original three wise men of security. What started off as a cryptographic algorithm turned into a security company, and now one of the largest security conferences in the world.
A lot of smoke and mirrors. A lot of smoke and mirrors. That's RSA.
I want to get to the bottom of why so many people feel negative towards vendors and whether that's a justified feeling. But getting to the bottom of this is not easy, so I'm going to have to plan my moves out. First off, find out what confuses or annoys people.
You have a sea of logos, and yeah, all of them are borrowing the Matrix background for some reason, so they sort of all merge into one.
And he wasn't the only one with this thought.
The problem with the vendor space at the moment is it's very fragmented. There's so many different opportunities out there, so many different niche products, and the CISO like myself finds it very difficult to orchestrate that and bring it together.
It's a lot of people trying to solve the same problems the same way. You know, there's not a lot of delineation.
I think just coming here with a plan. Coming here knowing what you really want and being very specific about that is probably the best way to address it.
I'd have a shopping list. You'd have to do your research. You can't possibly just walk about with, a GOG at all of these companies because you just get mowed down.
And that's my problem, not RSA's.
Not being able to get anything of value from these people, I wandered around a bit more until I bumped into these two handsome Irish lads who had some insight to share.
It's just people trying to outmarket each other. That's it. They're trying to get one up on each other. Like
it's a vain attempt to stand out.
Like yesterday, there was people on stilts standing outside with fishing rods, advertising fishing. Like yesterday morning, there was a protest going on for anti-automation that was organised by, I assume, some sort of automation company or something like that. So it's just about trying to outdo each other, but I think that we take a practical, a pragmatic approach. People need hats, people need water bottles.
Feeling like I was getting nowhere with anything truly constructive, I thought I'd go and ask the vendors themselves. Just how difficult can it be to put on a booth?
There is quite a lot of work that happens behind the scenes, but I think the whole purpose of my job is to make it seem like there's not.
That put on the trade shows, work in marketing, and we take months to put together all the planning and efforts and budgets that it takes to put on even the larger size trade show.
Yeah, it's not only the booth, right? It's the messaging, it's the campaigns that run before and after, it's what impression you want to give to people that walk by. It's how do you want to treat your customers that are present. So when a big event like RSA requires a lot of effort, planning, and coordination among the different teams.
It's a lot of planning. There's a lot of logistics between the travel as well as trying to organize the staff, pick the right locations, and really just nail all the components, because when you get to a show, you never know what you're going to walk into, and you have to have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C for whatever might happen.
Okay, we get it. There's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes. But as a vendor, what makes it a worthwhile or rewarding experience?
It makes me happy when they have a seamless experience. When they come, they engage, they enjoy themselves, and they leave, and it goes off without a hitch.
I think it's when you take somebody that isn't sure if they're interested, you give them a little bit more information, and they start getting curious, and they want to start learning more.
I think when you get to ask very specific questions, you get to understand their challenges a little bit more, and there's a connection between the challenges that they have and the solution that you can provide. Without being salesy, but you still first the start of the relationship.
Like we're having clients come up to us, say, "Oh, thank you for helping us out with that thing." It's nice to actually finally see your face, like, and so that's cool. That's great. Things like that are great.
So there's a lot of work that goes into putting up a booth, and the people in the booth are very keen for the attendees to have a great experience. But I couldn't help wonder that surely there must be some things about attendees that annoy the people working in the booths.
Oh man.
Oh, annoying people in the booth.
I think anybody's gonna say probably the same thing.
The looky-loos that just want to come by for swag.
I can't handle the people, like the sob stories. Oh, I have 12 kids. Can I please get 14 pairs of sunglasses for my 13 dogs?
It's just people that just want to steal your tchotchkes. and take, you know, 5 or 10.
And on the other side, I would say probably what annoys the participants is the people who just want the scans. So
you know, they don't want to let you scan your bag.
Well, there it was. I mean, it's easy to complain about stuff, but that becomes a lot harder once you appreciate and understand how much effort the vendors put into a show. But I still felt like I was missing something, so I went for a walk, and as I was on this bridge staring down at the people below, I completely randomly bumped into this CISO, who I think summed up all the points that I was feeling in a far more eloquent manner than I could ever. So I'll end with his views.
The RSA conference this week I think has been one of the best, but yet again there's been even more chatter about the somewhat aggressive, somewhat low rent approaches by the vendors on the expo floor about their tactics to attract you and to attract your money and your investment with them. And while some of this may be true, I think the vast majority, I think it's pretty disingenuous to say this, because actually those vendors and those sponsors are what make this conference possible in the first place. They're the ones that are actually paying for the floor space, they're paying for the meeting space, they're paying for your teas, your coffees, your alcoholic beverages of choice, your parties that you go to in the evenings. They're paying for this whole environment, this whole week that allows you to not only connect with your peers and your colleagues, allows you to meet new people, and also allows you, let's not forget, to actually learn more stuff. So to come out on a very negative vendor rant about how awful all these vendors are and they're terrible, etc. Without them, you wouldn't even be here in the first place. You wouldn't be at this conference. And it's not just RSA, it's the same across the board. Vendors, analysts, for instance, analysts rely on vendors and their payments to actually write reports and research. So all that stuff that you're consuming to improve your business is because of vendors. So, like I say, there are plenty of edge cases, but really, let's not forget that the vendors are the reason why we are here and talking to each other and trying to improve things in the first place.
Sorry.
You can cook this up.
Okay, made it!